everyone to Answers for Elders Radio Network and a very, very special presentation. And you know, to our listeners, you've never seen this kind of an amazing group assembled. And I am so honored here because we are celebrating 50 years of fandom and by the Seattle Seahawks and Seahawks fan. And when we think about 50 years, that is an incredible amount of history. It's a lot of richness. And the Seahawks culture is like a tapestry that it's been woven through the culture of the city of Seattle, the state of Washington, and through a booster club that represents members, you know, worldwide. And we're going to talk a lot to the really key individuals that are part of this community. And first and foremost, I am extremely honored to have the voice of the Seahawks, also a Seahawk legend, Mr. Steve Raible, with us.
Suzanne, thank you.
And I just would like to start with you, Steve, about just, you know, the history. What are your thoughts about this amazing history? You've been there also since the beginning.
Yeah, pretty much since day one. I mean, the team was granted by the National Football League to Seattle in '74. Really, things started to pick up in '75, and then '76 was our first season and the first draft. And I came in that first draft group in '76, so 50 seasons ago. It is hard to believe, actually, that it has been that long. It's also hard to believe that I'm still walking upright because I only played 6 years, and football is a tough game, and you talk to any of the guys who used to play, and especially of my era, things start to catch up with you a little bit, but the absolute joy of being able to play in this community and to stay in this community, so many of us have, has been a real treat. So I know there's lots to talk about. All I know is it was a thrill to be able to be drafted by the Seahawks, although I wasn't sure where Seattle was at the time when I was back at Georgia Tech. But I sure know now, and after 50 seasons, I'm really glad we stayed.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, there's so much richness to history. I know I went to the very, very first Seahawk game with my father 50 years ago. And it's so important to me that we honor the original fans. And thanks to Mr. Godfrey and Chateau Retirement, you guys, I came to you and I said, you know, we really want to talk about your perspective from day one, since you've watched this team, kind of this community, and what's happened in finally winning a Super Bowl and all the things that have resulted because of our NFL team. So I want to extend a absolute thank you, great gratitude for Chateau Retirement for sponsoring this amazing event. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I'm going to go directly to the Godfreys, which is Mr. Jim Godfrey and Sean Godfrey, your son, Jim. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit, you guys have been original season ticket holders. Tell me a little bit about your experiences in sharing the games together as father and son.
Well, I thought it was important to get out with my children. Very busy starting Chateau, so I needed to spend some time with my family. And that was one good way, because they were all good Seahawk fans. They love football. So I bought season tickets, and we'd go to the games together. I'd take one of the kids with me. So it was a way to spend some time with my kids, quality time. I also took them to Super Bowls with me. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
you went
amazing.
to both of those?
Both of them, yeah.
Very good.
Incredible.
Congratulations.
And Sean,
wish we'd have won a second one for you.
Oh, you were so close.
Yeah.
If you'd have run Marshawn Lynch,
there you go. Exactly.
instead of throwing the damn ball.
Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, we're like 5 minutes into it.
Yeah.
Let me call Pete and get him on the phone.
Yeah. How'd you do that?
He'll want to answer that question.
So Sean, you've
Yes.
grown up being a Seahawk fan.
I did, yes.
Tell me about what that's like.
Growing up with my father being a Seahawk fan, I remember when there were some blackout dates and we weren't able to watch them on the television,
Yeah.
local television stations. So my father, Jim here, would boot up his, well, back then, turn on his radio, and then be listening to it on the radio while doing chores around the house, like painting the house, I remember, quite vividly. Give it the big sprayer out there, and you had the game on full blast because of the noise of the mechanics of the sprayer itself. And lots of memories of, both watching, coming through the house, on the weekends and seeing the game on constantly. It was awesome.
And that, you said something about noise. I'm going to do a little bit of a segue. You can't talk about the fans and not talk about the noise,
Yeah.
right? Steve, you walked out on that field the very first game. How noisy was it on the first game, and how did that evolve? How did the fans just get so loud?
I don't know how they got louder, quite frankly, but they did over the period of 50 seasons. But I do remember, and a great trivia question for everybody who's here, that very first regular season game for the Seahawks in the Kingdome against the then St. Louis Cardinals.
Yep.
And can you name the 2 starting wide receivers in that game for the Seahawks? It wasn't Steve Largent.
No.
It wasn't Sam McCullum. It was Steve Raible and a guy named Don Clune, who we got from the New York Giants in the expansion draft. And I only mention that because we were then introduced. And so I ran out as my name was called, and I ran out onto the field. And literally, it felt like the building was coming in on you. It was so loud. It was perfect for that event. Perfect for having a football game going on in there. All the noise, the concrete roof, until the tiles started to fall. But nobody got hurt. That was fine. But it was just so remarkably loud, and the fans almost intuitively knew early on, okay, we got to quiet it down when our offense is on the field so they can hear. But when their offense is on the field, let's make it absolutely insane so they can't hear, which led the NFL to trying to institute a rule about noise.
I'll never forget being at one of the games where they tried that rule and we just got louder. They kept on like flagging us, and we just got louder and louder. And they finally just said, "All right, this is futile. Just play."
I mean, maybe one of the dumbest rules, and the NFL, believe me, is notorious for some dumb rules, but maybe one of the dumbest ever was trying to regulate noise from the home fans.
Yeah,
like you said, all they're going to do is get louder, and they did.
Yeah.
And when we look at noise, how many false start penalties on the other team happened? And that's how we got our nickname called the 12s, because of 11 men on the field, right? We were that special sauce. Steve, you played through a lot of that. I'm surprised you don't have hearing loss.
I beg your pardon? Well, we did. We used a lot of silent count, which is what teams that come in, to even Lumen Field. Well, I know we're going to talk about Lumen Field eventually too. And it's amazing that you can have that kind of noise in an outdoor facility, but we do, thanks in no large measure here to the fans. I mean, they're just outstanding. But it could be tough. And so, we'd look in from the outside, and if Jim tapped his helmet on this side, he might change the play to one thing or something else. We had a system of play calls that when we got to the line of scrimmage and it was too loud for him to actually call the play for us, he would call either regular, extra crispy, or barbecue, and use those words. And they would be awesome. 3 of the plays that we would have practiced a lot that week. So if he called extra crispy, okay, I know what that play is now, and that's all he has to say. And everybody on the offensive line. So you find those little cheating ways to be able to communicate because it's so loud. And then you go to the sidelines, and now the defense is on the field, and it's even louder. And the coach is trying to call down from upstairs on a phone, and your little princess phone, I'm talking to the offensive coordinator up in the booth. You have no idea what he's saying. So, which was probably good because he didn't have anything nice to say anyway. But maybe it was just me that he was yelling at. I'm assuming it was. But yes, that's has been a bigger part of the Seahawks, the franchise, the 12s. I will also tell you, since you mentioned how the Seahawks group here, the fans got their names, the 12s. I'm sure you guys know, but Mike McDonald the new head coach, has sort of adopted that now, 12 as one. It's on a big sign
Yes.
all over the
Wow.
facility.
Yeah.
And it's the players on the field, the 11, the 12th is you guys, and then everybody playing as one. And he said, those guys and you together, there should be no offense or defense that wants to come in to Lumen Field or play the Seahawks because, you know, they're outnumbered, period.
Yeah.
Right.
I love it.
And I'm going to go back to Mr. Godfrey. Chateau Retirement is 25 years old, and you have grown 3 incredibly beautiful, wonderful communities for our seniors. You've obviously seen your residents be excited about the Seahawks. Can you and Sean speak a little bit to how excited our seniors get for the games?
Yeah, they really do. We have a big screen TV in all the buildings, and they all gather to watch the game. And I encourage, now I don't go to the games too much, I give the tickets to my children, and I encourage them to invite residents sometime to go with them. And we had one young man working for us in the kitchen who was a Down syndrome person. He was doing the dishes, you know. And I thought it'd be nice to take him. I know he's a big fan. So I took him to one game. And I was talking to the culinary director after. He said, oh, gosh, yeah, he couldn't shut up about going to the game with the owner. That's all he talked about.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of company we are. We
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
love our residents and our staff, too. So,
Yeah. And you guys do watch parties
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I know that you're going to have one coming up here soon. And so obviously the Seahawks culture is very, very alive. And we're going to talk to all of you OG fans because each one of you have an incredible story that we want you to share. But I wanted, before we do that, I'm going to take us a little bit trip down to memory lane because I don't think it's talked about as much as it should be. We almost lost the Seahawks.
Oh,
They
that
were,
guy.
they,
That
in
guy.
1996, a former owner, which we will not mention his name, decided that he wanted to take this Seahawks to Southern California, to LA. And Steve, what was that like in, you know, as a legend living here and your team shipped out?
And as a broadcaster
And
by
a
that
broadcaster
time, I
by
was
that
the color analyst at the time. And it's funny, I got a call from an assistant coach who's a buddy of mine on that staff. And he says, I think it was like a Monday or a Tuesday. He said, you might want to come by here. The moving vans are pulling into the parking lot. This was at Northwest College over in Kirkland where the facility was. That's the second Seahawks facility. The first one was where Carillon Point is now in Kirkland, right on the water. Boy, how good was that? We'd go out to practice every day.
Nice.
Lake is right there. You know, we used to be angry with the people on boats who would come by. We were working hard and they were partying. But and he said, you might want to come by because they're going to move us to California right now. So I grabbed a photographer. I was in Cairo at the time, and I grabbed a photographer and we headed over. And they, because I was a part of the team, more or less, they let me in, whereas they kept the rest of the press and everybody out. They let us in, and Dennis Erickson was the almost brand new head coach at the time. And he heard I was there, and he said, come on up to the office. And so he did a long sit down with me about the situation. And he said, you know, he's the coach. The owner can hire and fire, and he told me when the camera was off, he said, I came back here to coach the Seahawks because this is my home, and here we're moving to California. But he couldn't talk about that on camera, and he said, instead, you know, this guy wants to win, and he feels like the opportunity to win is better down there. So it lasted a few weeks. They went down, practiced at the Rams' old facility in Anaheim for a couple of weeks. And just about the time they got everything off the trucks and unloaded, they were hit with a possibility of a lawsuit. And the county executive said, you better come back now or we're going to sue the team for not honoring their lease. And so they came back.
And you know, what I understand is that NFL teams have moved in history.
Yes.
oh, yeah.
the Seahawks are the only ones that were able to bring our team back. Is that the truth?
Yeah, I mean, eventually the Rams came back from St. Louis.
Okay.
They went to Anaheim.
That's
They
true.
went to St. Louis. The owner who moved them to St. Louis then is the one who brought them back. But yeah, the Seahawks, I don't think officially we could be considered having moved. We just moved a bunch of our equipment and then turned right around and brought it all back again. And
They never played a game.
they never played a game there. Never really held organized practices there. I mean, it was in the off season. You started, you're doing some training, but it all worked out for the best for Seattle citizens because a guy named Paul Allen stepped up and said, after a little bit of coaxing, believe me, stepped up and said, "Hey, I am willing to do what I can do to keep the team here, but I need to make it a partnership." You guys who are in business obviously know that. Partnerships are so important. And I'm going to have a partnership with the whole community. And we're going to build a new stadium because heaven knows we need one. And the Kingdome, believe me, it was great. You guys who sat up in this, except for there was only 3 bathrooms in the whole place or something.
The troughs also.
Yeah.
Yeah, the troughs.
But trust me when I tell you, the locker rooms weren't all that much a treat either. The best part about it was the fact that everybody could see, and you had this concrete dome over you that kept all the sound there. But because because Paul decided to come into the picture, everything changed, and that was the step that the Seahawks needed to move forward and to get to where we are today.
Yeah, and talking about it for all of you, I'm going to introduce you in a minute, but I would like to know, how did you feel when you felt like you were going to lose your team? Jim?
Yeah, it wasn't very pleasant. I'm originally from Baltimore, and all my relatives back there still hate the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
Justified.
And I thought, geez, I just went through this with all my relatives and stuff. Well, I won't mention his name either. And he actually moved them both. But yeah, that was a bad day. I thought, geez, we just got here, and now they're going to leave.
Yeah.
No,
And obviously, that was a very, very powerful time. And they decided to put it up on a vote, right? The thing that was so unique about our stadium was the fact that it was funded not necessarily through taxpayers, but through hospitality, which I found was really creative. And Paul Allen put up half the money, right? Is that correct?
Yep.
So tell me a little bit about, when the climate was there, that barely passed, but it passed. It was nail biting.
I was just going to ask you guys, because we were all voters at
Yeah,
that
we
time.
were.
And all of us over here on this side of the mountains, on the west side, pretty much thought it was going to be a slam dunk. That wasn't the thought on the east side of the mountains. And there was a lot of skepticism over there. Why should we end up having to have our enterprises tax to pay for something that's in Seattle, even though a whole lot of people come over every weekend for the games.
Yeah.
So
And it was amazing that it passed, and because it was such a small margin. But when we think about what would have happened, I think about that a lot. When you think if we didn't have now Lumen Field, what could have happened to our team? And that's the powerful part of where I kind of feel like the fans were absolutely tested at that time. I think, and what happened was, I think the bond with the team got even stronger after that. What would you, Dave and Suzanne, why don't you share with me, I know you're TV watchers and you've watched the Seahawks since the beginning. How did you feel once we had that new stadium and watching it on TV?
Well, it wouldn't be the first sports team in Seattle that left town.
Yeah.
But fortunately, we limited it to one, and maybe that one will come back. We don't know yet. It's a different story. Having your team here that you're in love with and you've supported for years, and it goes away, that's a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
Terrible.
And yet we have this new stadium. So I'm going to go over to Mr. Dave here. You're known as Big Dave. Everybody knows Big Dave. And you know, the thing that I love about you is I'm privileged to be your friend on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I see all of your posts. You go to all the sports things, and you're so involved in so many things and about community. But you know, you obviously, being a high-profile 12, I would definitely put you in that category. Tell me a little bit about how that's evolved for you in your life.
Really, I've been a fan since day one because the Seahawks were awarded the team in June of '74, and I was born in August of '74. So I've been a fan. I grew up in the '80s. My dad had seen tickets to the Kingdome. I lived in the '80s in the Kingdome. I saw all the horrible games in the 1992 season. I was outside of the bubble, so the blackout areas. I got to see all the bad '90 games, and then the Holmgren era. So and then the Pete Carroll era, and I went to Super Bowl 48. So it's just been an amazing ride, and I just love the Seahawks, and I just love the fact that they're here still, and I just love the fact that I still have the team to root for, and they brought me so much joy in my life.
Yeah, and you know, when you think about it, you're talking about joy. I would say that is a really long-term feeling of the fans. Even I remember in the early days, we didn't care if they won or lost, right? Because they were losing most of the games. They're a brand new expansion team. But the thing is, the fans, they were still just as passionate, you know?
Yeah.
Valerie, tell me a little bit. You're an OG fan, and you went to the Super Bowl.
I did. I went to both of them. The second one was the most depressing time of my life. It really was. The first one was fantastic. I went with my son, and we had a great time. I wish he was here so he could explain this, because it was great. It was a wonderful time. It was fun to watch. It was fun to be there. It was an exciting time, really exciting time.
Yeah.
And that's where I kind of fell in love with Richard Sherman.
Yeah. How can you not love Richard Sherman, right?
Well, yeah, I have a cat named after him.
And you know, I love that. And again, this is a part of the spirit of the 12s. And of course, Steve, you probably have seen it evolve over time. There's no fan base in my world that I can see that's anything close to the 12s.
No, there are places around the league that are difficult to play because the fans are really good. We were in one of them a week and a half ago in Pittsburgh, and they are really tough to beat. The Steelers are at home. Their fan base with those terrible towels and all that. So for the team to go in there and do what they did, to win against a traditional powerhouse like the Steelers. Now they haven't been. And Aaron Rodgers, that's right. He's almost as old as I am. And that's saying something. By the way, I love this opportunity, but to learn that you were 2 years old when I started playing for the Seahawks. Wow. Now that's...
I was born your inaugural season, so.
Goodness gracious. I feel much more akin to all of us guys sitting around
As
here.
do I.
Who were the fans. But let me also ask one more thing of the fans. So when you guys came to the games, you'd park in the parking lots, right? I mean, where else are you going to park around the Kingdome? The south parking lot at the Kingdome was pretty much where all of it, including the players, we'd drive in, we'd stay at a hotel the night before the game out in Issaquah, and we'd drive in across I-90, and we'd all pull into the parking lot, and we'd all park together.
Oh, that's awesome.
Players, fans, everybody was together. Jim and I were talking about this the other day, Zorn. We'd get out of our cars. He had that little yellow Volkswagen Bug that he drove. He and Steve would get out of their car, and I generally drove Sam Adkins, who wore that jersey, the only player ever to wear 12. My roommate, the backup quarterback, we'd climb out. I had a red Jensen Healy at the time. It was a really great car, sports car. So Jim and Steve are the stars, and they're getting out of a Volkswagen, and Sam and I are the backups, and we're getting out of a Jensen Healy. But we're all walking in with the fans, and it was just terrific. I don't know if you guys ever had the opportunity to experience that when you were walking into the game, but it was fun for us. that's one of the ways that we had that sense for how close we really were to the fans. They looked at us like we were, well, in those days, we were all young guys. And for a lot of folks, we were there like sons and or at the very least, big brothers, that kind of thing. So it was just the best, and it was from day one.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, when you think about 50 years of being a fan, just think about that in your life when you're thinking about that. What is one word that you can think of being a fan? What does it mean to you? I'll start with you, Jim.
One word.
One word.
One word. I don't. Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Dave.
I'm going to say dedication. I mean,
Yeah.
because you gotta be a fan through the thick and thin.
Yeah.
And I always say, people who don't know, who didn't experience the 1992 season, it's like going, everybody's like, "What we're doing so bad?" I go, "You didn't experience the 1992 season, so you got just the dedication of being a fan through thick and thin."
Yeah, through thick and thin. Valerie.
Loyalty.
I love that. Love. Tell me a little bit about loyalty. What does that mean to you?
Oh my God, you know, we stuck with them through thick and thin, and a lot of, well, there's a few that left, but that was really wonderful for me to see that. I wasn't really a big football fan before the Seahawks came, and even when they did come, I wasn't quite sure what in the heck I was doing. But yeah, they're just, you know, it's just wonderful.
Right, right. Dave and Suzanne.
Fun.
What is it? Fun?
Fun.
I love
Grand.
grand. Grand.
That was a good
Awesome.
choice.
Fun and grand. And you guys, you've been married for like 63 years, is it?
Yep.
You have shared the games together, the two of you. What are some memories? Do you have some specific memories of those times?
Well, I was thinking of another time. Our youngest grandson and the daughter of one of the players went to the same school.
Oh, wow.
And the Seahawk player did not open their window or anything or get out with his little girl. But when Josh was doing
Safety patrol.
safety patrol, this player would always roll down his window and wave at Josh.
Oh, that's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Sean.
I would have to say passion. You'd have to have very good passion to be a fan of the Seahawks.
Mr. Godfrey.
I would say excitement. The games were always exciting. You never knew how they were going to do, so you're sort of on the edge of your seat. And then when they went to the Super Bowl, to see what they did to the Broncos was just, blew you away.
It is amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Steve, how about you?
Well, when I was in high school, we had an emblem on our helmet at Trinity High School in Louisville, Kentucky. And the 4 words, and I use them even today, and I use them when I do a lot of speaking: pride, loyalty, discipline, achievement. And for me, a lot of people misunderstand a little bit, but pride, and not a braggadocious kind of pride,
Right.
but a pride in your organization, your team, your fans, in your city, in your state, a pride that says, you know what, we've been through a lot. We went through expansion, didn't win a lot of games. We went through a time when they tried to move the team. We went through a tough Super Bowl loss that even today people are still talking about.
The scene you cannot forget.
That's right. And yet, that pride continues, and for the players, having been on that side of it as well, and the organization, the pride that they have in being a part of this community. You guys, you know, the fans sometimes don't get a chance to see that. Every time you talk to John Schneider, what's the best thing for the organization? Because that's going to be the best thing for our fans.
Right.
That's all he thinks about every day. And so I would say pride in all of those things, pride in just being a part of it since day one.
Yes. And I'm going to say community. I think one of the things that we're coming right to the point of coming together as a community, and the culture of the Seahawks being such a part of that. And so we're going to go into our next segment, and we're going to talk about the community with the Seahawks, and we'll be right back right after this.
Locally owned for more than 25 years, Chateau Retirement offers premier independent and assisted living to seniors in Linwood, Bothell, and Renton. Our skilled and compassionate staff are committed to the holistic well-being of each resident. Our Chateau Gardens Memory Care specializes in person-centered programming in a safe, therapeutic environment. At Chateau Retirement, our residents live a happier, healthier, longer life. We invite you to visit one of our communities today: Chateau Pacific in Linwood, Chateau Bothell Landing, and Chateau Valley Center in Renton. Schedule a tour today. Call 1-800-960-1944. Visit chateauretirement.com for more information. It's like living on a cruise ship on land.